Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we're gonna look at how speeds become the propaganda breaker by Tommy NFG. Alright, so Speed is on a world tour, and before I react to this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But Speed is on a world tour where he's visiting different countries and see how these countries are when you're actually there in person. Because Speed going to Africa, it was a lot of reaction from Speed that he's gonna suffer, he's always gonna get water, always gonna traverse through those bad roads and so forth. And bro, it's been crazy. Like, you've been there for yourself, not listening to what the media is saying, like these false news and how these countries are really, how they really are, how their persons really are. They show Africa like it's a dangerous place and so forth. And Africa is one of the nicest countries you could ever visit. Even in Europe, where you see how they perceive Africa, perceive Europe on the media. You see they like some nice persons, but there are some other racist persons on this planet, bro. In Germany and all those other countries, you know. And it goes to show that being there for yourself and seeing how the news perceive things is a totally different mind game. It's a totally different scenario of what they're explaining. Without further ado, let's react to this guy and see what he's talking about. Let's see.
Asho Speed has gone through a lot of phases in his career as a content creator. There was his 2021 era where he was getting canceled left and right. This is the year where he blew up completely out of nowhere and had zero filter on his streams.
My God! Go make some. No, you're black! Said we're the last two people on Earth, and we have.
Yo, honestly, I think Speed, he honestly, you know, you just started out, you don't know much about the game, you don't know much about certain things, and he's young, so he's gonna get away with a lot of stuff. But as time progresses, he get older. I see where he's getting more mature. His stream is getting more, you know, active, more, you know, relevant, more, you know. You can actually sit and watch, because Speed behaving like that, I wouldn't be watching Speed doing all of that. But it's for kids, and kids love that type of stuff.
I had to reproduce to make the world continue. Would you reproduce with me?
You can't lie, Speed is just naturally funny. He's just naturally funny. You can't watch his Speed and you not go laugh. You have to laugh. Speed is just naturally funny.
Yeah, safe to say this was a completely different person to the Speed we know now. You got 2022 to 2023 Speed, where he matured a bit and started doing IRL streams and events, where he was kind of doing anything to push the bounds and get clips, but he wasn't as wild as before. And you got what I would say from 2024 to now, the global known Speed, where he has these massive IRL tours planned and visits with these crazy crowds following him. He has to have at least 4 security guards surrounding him like the president, or if he doesn't, he'll get dragged out by his limbs from ferocious people in the crowd. But what I noticed from when he does these tours in different countries is that it's no longer just some streamer guy who's filming his experience. It's become a thing where people are getting their intel on how a country is and how its people are by him being there.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, you get to see these countries based on you actually like Speed actually being there, because the news will tell you something, or the media, the movies, everything will tell you something totally different. You get to know who are the real persons on this planet. You get to know who are the real loving, caring persons on this planet. And Speed is exposing all of them, bro. All of them.
there. Because what other way do you get the raw input of a country more than someone walking around with a camera and just talking to random people fully live? Going to random restaurants and events where a lot of people don't even know him and interacting with them. It's to the point where people are now dubbing him the guy that breaks the quote-unquote Western propaganda hold. Showing people how a country actually is instead of whatever the they got fed from the news or their government. And we can see this more than ever now that he started his Africa tour. Speed started his Africa live stream tour on December 29th, and his plan is to visit 20 countries in 28 days. And immediately when he announced it, already started having a panic attack. Speed! Africa? Bro, be careful there, man. We can't lose you. You might get captured by...
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, when Speed posted it, the comment section was going crazy. A lot of persons were happy, yes, that he's going to Africa. And saying if he's going to survive, he's going to get attacked, and all of this other stuff. Even when Speed was going to China, it was like, no, Speed he's going to expose the CIA, this, that, this and the third. Like, a lot of persons were like worried. But Speed going there, actually, China actually loves Speed being there. They love Speed being there. They're showing him their new technology, what is to come of the future, and they just give him a warm, welcoming hospitality. So shout out to China for that, bro, and shout out to Africa. Africa is a place where any celebrity go, they embrace them, like they show them love, respect. Man, it's a good thing that Speed is doing, touring the countries and exposing a lot of these countries, man.
Militia group or some Somalian pirates randomly. Deadass, you can go on Twitter on the post and see how many people were scared for him and hating on him going there. Which is crazy because every country he's went to has never gotten this much hate. And that's not even counting that it's before he even went. Like, you can't wait and then judge for yourself in his streams. Do you think he's seriously dumb enough to not research where the most dangerous countries are and is just going to every single place there? This should prove to anyone that in 2026, in the time where almost everyone in the world has access to all information online with the touch of a button, that propaganda will always stay locked in. These people actually believe every African country looks like an episode of National Geographic. Yeah. They're gonna touch down, walk out.
Bro, there's some parts of Africa that is way more better than a lot of these persons that are living way better lives than a lot of these persons are reacting in the comment section and on Twitter. Africa has some of the nicest roads. Africa has some of the nicest infrastructure. You know, Africa is really big, so you have some parts that are still in like a third world country phase, and there's some parts of it that's in the first world country phase. Bro, Africa is beautiful.
Out the airport and start having to manhandle a line trying to eat them, having to fight some tribal men throwing spears at them from huts. And look, I'm obviously not saying every African country is perfect and has a stable government. If Speed took one step down in South Sudan, Somalia, or the Congo, we would be seeing Speed's face on a tombstone by now. But to generalize a whole continent with 1.48 billion people on it is hilarious. You can go on YouTube and search up footage of these countries' cities and see how it looks. It's not that hard. So far with his streams, they've been going good and everyone's been nice. People are even going up to him with custom art to give him as a gift for coming.
Bro, Chad, he made this whole art piece. This whole art piece. Oh, you can feel it too.
That's lit.
He made the whole art piece with this little hammer right here.
This usually some they do after somebody dies in commemoration, but they love this man so much they got him painted on street walls. Because to them, him coming and showing off their country and how normal it is means so much to them. They already know how many people still think Africa is dirt huts and riding donkeys, so it's refreshing seeing someone as big as Speed to show it's not. There isn't a single person either that did something weird like making fun of him for being a black American and not knowing his lineage. And with all this footage we've got so far, people have now started to compare this with his tour in Europe, which overall I would say was still pretty good and positive, but the amount of racism he faced was night.
Exactly, I just said, like, I see a clip where Speed was in Europe and they throw a banana at him, person dressing up in banana in monkey costume, even a banana costume, like was chasing his car and stuff. Bro, why did not behave themselves? and day.
You could say since he's in Africa, he technically can't face racism because it's the same people as him. But if you're African, you know exactly how serious them tribes move and get. If your ass identifies as the wrong tribe in a certain area, they will not take it too kindly. Racism is like the first layer of things, but when you peel it back, there's always something that ends up being the replacement. Shoot, look at America. People always forget that damn near every immigrant group was hated on when coming in, even if they were white. The Irish or the Italians or the Greeks, it doesn't just happen at the skin level. But it's all positive experiences for Speed, and no one bring up anything weird like that. Meanwhile, in Europe, there was random fans coming up to him, not even saying hi, and blatantly saying the N-word to him. Doing all types of weird racial stuff to try and get a reaction out of him.
Luke, kniga.
Bro, stop playing with me, bro.
That's crazy, bro. Hear the people in the background, bro. These are the countries that the media make look so like it's one of the most beautiful places to visit. Some of these places are some of the worst places to go. I'd rather go to Africa than go to some of these places, bro. This is a clip. This is a clip that I see someone throw a banana at it, bro.
Imagine going to the grocery store, spending money on a banana just to throw it at your
Show it
favorite
at
store.
someone.
And I don't care what anybody says, that shit is weird as f***. You'll get people like, well, they don't know any better. The words don't mean much in their country. Or, aw, man, Tommy, you can't take a joke and troll. Come on, man, you're such a snowflake. If they know it's bad enough to get a reaction out of him that's angry, then they should know it's a bad thing. I get confused seeing this because I would never go up to a random famous person vlogging here and say a slur in their nation to get their attention. Like, if you're having one of the biggest creators on social media right now touring your country and giving it exposure, the last thing you want to do is give a bad look for you and your people. There was also a lot of nice fans he met there, and I'm not saying it's everyone doing it there, but this is trying to happen in every country. Even in China, he was getting stuff thrown at him. It's so funny too because you'll have a group of racist people talk about how Africans have no civility in class. Meanwhile, this is the treatment Speed gets in Europe. The only country he got dragged by his hair out was in Europe. I can almost guarantee you a white person that travels to an African country won't even get 5% of what Speed got in his Europe streams. Anytime I see a vlogger that's white from America or the UK go to an African country, you always see the people welcoming, giving them gifts, teaching them their cultures and dances. I guarantee Speed felt some type of way leaving certain countries there because I know I would. Some people were even worried on his trip because at times he looked depressed and like he didn't even want to be there. It's one thing is trying to say jokes on the internet and get a rise out of somebody without being in person. It's another thing being in person and doing that same thing. Like, that's so degrading to feel like as a human. If I saw a bunch of these little kids making monkey noises at me, I'm gonna teach them what would happen in Chicago if they did it. Now we could talk about China, which happened some time ago. Honestly, even I was shocked at how much emotion he had there. I might have fell for the propaganda myself too, because I'd be forgetting they still know American content creators and watch them. I thought the Great Chinese Firewall was ironclad, but apparently a lot of people in China just watch YouTube by turning on a VPN. And also, he got reposted so much while he was in China on Chinese social media that he became a celebrity in that short time he was there. In 3 days of being in China, on Chinese TikTok, he got 2.3 million followers. Some people there ain't even know him. They just took a pic with him because they saw everyone doing it. Restaurants there were advertising that Speed visited on posters so people would eat there. With China streams, what broke the so-called West...
That's a good promotion. That restaurant owner no good promotion, bro. But that's the thing I was saying with China earlier. Like, when Speed was there, I see a lot of new technology and how China was actually embracing him and stuff like that. Because I see some videos on TikTok also where Chinese people love black people. Like, it's like a wow to them. Like, whoa, that's a black guy. It's Crazy.
propaganda, at least to my view, is the fact that America and other places are supposed to be seen as the most advanced technological places. And when Speed went to China, people saw how it wasn't even close. They not only have high-speed rail subway stations through damn near the whole country, but he could still stream in the subway with 5G Wi-Fi and had no connection loss. The fact they got good Wi-Fi built up enough in the subway so he can stream in HD is already advanced as hell. And in almost any city in China, he showed that you get full 5G Wi-Fi for free. I'd be scared to connect to airport Wi-Fi here, let alone a city Wi-Fi. I feel like I'm gonna wake up one day after connecting to airport Wi-Fi and see a Mossad agent looking at me through some spyware. People also didn't know how good Chinese cities looked until Speed started showing them, which once again...
Do you know how big that is? Because you know, if you go to the subway, if you go through a tunnel and stuff, you lose internet connection. And then if you're in China and you're going through all of that and still have internet connection, it shows how advanced China is. Bro, them over China on some different level, bro.
Is literally one search on Google to see. But throughout his streams, he was showing drone footage of the biggest cities there, which do look insane.
This is crazy. Oh my God. This is crazy. Show the whole city. Tell Taylor switch back real quick.
Taylor, switch back to us real quick for a minute.
The wild thing about all this is because he was showing their cities on stream, he started to get accused of being a Chinese spy and operative trying to do propaganda for the country, to the point where his cameraman had to make a statement saying they've gotten $0 from the Chinese government. It's not like Speed went on his stream every day and was like, the empirical rule of Xi Jinping is the greatest, most amazing rule with zero corruption and there are no problems in this country. To the internet, if he isn't a staunch critic of the Chinese government 24/7, then he might as well be a spy. You never see this criticism when someone from another country visits America. It's always the opposite way. Two things can be true at once. China has good technology and actually, you know, invests citizens' tax dollars into the people, and has at times government corruption where the people can't do much to fight against it. The people there also did the same thing, showed him love by giving him gifts for even coming. I feel like if he was being paid by the Chinese government as propaganda, the American government would have found out and exposed him for it by now. You don't think the CIA was already watching every move he was doing there? They probably had a custom task force assigned to Speed to see everything he was doing in China. People may not notice it, but creators have fully taken over how the public perception is on global issues. Before, when it was just news channels, it was way worse because you got one perspective, which most of the time was biased. Also, the people at these news channels could be paid off too, and without social media, it was way harder for the public to find out. The main way people's minds used to change is big actors or musicians showing different places. MJ was the real master at this. It was a part of why he was so big. And nowadays, it may start off with something simple like Speed visiting Africa or China and someone seeing something cool there. Then that person doing their own research and deciding to visit after realizing it's not as bad as they were told. Anyways, that's gonna be all for now. Happy New Year, and
that's what I am. Let
me know what type of propaganda y'all fall for. Follow me on
when I'm ready to travel or when I'm ready to see the world. I'm not gonna go to some of these places where I see Speed receiving some of the worst racism. I'm going to some of these countries where I see persons embrace even China, Tokyo, Africa. Those are the places I want to visit. I want to go to places where I see persons acting like monkeys, bro, dressing up in monkey suit, throwing banana at you. No. Hey man, make sure you check out this guy. Great video of explaining how these news outlets have been misleading us, giving us misleading information about their countries and everything. And Speed is actually just showing the real truth. So shout out to Speed too. Alright guys, make sure you guys like, comment and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Alright.